Hello everybody, thanks for joining our heat session today. For those who don't know me yet, my name is David and I'm the responsible area sales manager for East Europe and main parts of Southeast Asia. So it's nice to meet you. In today's heat session, we do not start at Emmerich at our headquarters. Actually, we are in the city of Duisburg in the Ruhr area. And as some of you may know, the Ruhr area was very much known for the heavy industries like coal mining and steel production some decades ago. As you can see, this industry had a big impact on the outer appearance and also on the feelings of this city at that time. So for example, it was very noisy, it was very dirty, and the quality of air was quite bad since the environmental standards at that time were not so good than today. But at the end of last century, more and more people started to think in a more green way. And since the heavy industry had a big impact of starting the global climate change, this sector becomes smaller and smaller, and also here in Duisburg. Another important reason for that was that the coal reserves was mainly gone in the Ruhrgebiet. So that means it was not longer profitable to mine coal here. So the factories in Duisburg had to look for an alternative to coal. A similar changing process can be seen at coffee roasters. At the very first beginning, coffee roasters were running on coal and wood. Since the coffee roasting process were very inconsistent and hard to control with these heating materials, nowadays the roasters are mainly running on gas. But we all know that gas is not unlimited on our planet. So there will be the time that there will be no much more gas that we can use, or at least it will be too expensive to get this gas. And we, as you to-go partner in the coffee industry, we want to be prepared as much and as early as possible for that moment. Furthermore, the burning of fossil fuels produces a lot of CO2. And as you know, Probat is very aware of its responsibility towards the environment. So it is of great concern for us that we can provide you, our friends, our customers, with the best possible solution on this field, so that we can ensure together that our children and grandchildren can continuing to enjoy to live on our beautiful green planet. For the mentioned reasons, we have been working on possible solutions to run coffee roasters on alternative energies for a while now. And the importance of this topic is also emphasized with the huge number of requests that we are getting from you, our customers. So therefore, my colleagues and I would like to give you some insights of our first ideas and concept in this regard. So therefore, please stay tuned and we see each other in Emmerich. As you can see, we are now at our beautiful garden at our headquarters in Emmerich. So the weather is quite good today, so we thought it would be a brilliant idea to have our heat session outside of the building. Besides me, we have two experts on the field of alternative energies. On the one side, this is Oliver, and on this side, this is Christian. So I think it would be a perfect idea if you can give our audience a short introduction of yourself. But before I hand over to you, please let me emphasize shortly that if you have any kind of questions, please use our chats in our live stream so that we can handle with these questions. My colleague Carsten will check the chats and will forward your question to us. Okay, guys, the stage is yours.
Yeah, thank you, David, for this short introduction. Hello, everybody. From my side, I'm happy to be here at this beautiful place outside. The weather is good. So let me say a few words about myself. So my name is Christian Schwarzer. I'm working at the Department for Industrial Furnaces and Heat Technology at the University of Aachen. I'm here as an expert today because we are very familiar with the processes of energy-intensive industry, like for example the steel or the aluminium industry, but also the minerals industry. And I'm invited today to just give a few or talk about a few aspects of energy transitions, which is of course a very popular topic today, and which we have to deal with within the next decades. So yeah, as I said, I'm happy to be here and share a few insights from our point of view.
Thanks, Christian. I'm Oliver, I'm Head of Product Management at Probat. You might know me already from heat sessions of last year. Product management at Probat is not only to oversee the whole portfolio of today, but also to anticipate the demand of tomorrow. Therefore, this is a very urgent and immediate topic for the product management, because we from Probat, as we have innovation and development as a base part of our DNA, we really like to foresee the demand and have the answers already ready before the customer is asking. Therefore, I'm eager to discuss with Christian and also with David about this topic today. David.
Okay, let's have a seat and let's start.
Thank you, guys.
So, Christian, as I said, I'm really happy that you are here and
Me too.
to talk about this topic. And we from Probat, we did in the past years and also decades research in terms of alternatives for fossil fuels, because it's not a real new topic that fossil fuels have an end at some time. Everybody knows, even for decades, and therefore we were quite early looking for alternatives. The most easiest part, or the superficial easy thinking, was just to replace natural gas by biogas, because it's similar composure. We all see vast areas around the rural regions where crops and corn are planted. What do you think? Is that a feasible solution in terms of replacing natural gas by biogas?
Yeah, you're right in some ways. So of course biogas is a very interesting solution, and it seems to be a very quick solution which we can implement in short term. I mean, we have different dimensions to deal with from a technical point of view, because we are a very technical orientated institute. We have to look at the feasibility, for example. And if we talk about biogas, of course, there are a lot of similarities to natural gas, but we also have differences in terms of, for example, composition, off-gas composition, then, and also things like heating value. Yeah?
Yeah.
That's, so we have a lower heating value. And therefore, I think we can adapt things like burners in the processes, but yeah, we have to figure out what is the impact on the, for example, overall quality or process temperature distribution, and so on. So from a technical point of view, I think it's an interesting solution, but we also have to take in mind the discussion, so-called tank or table. So should we use biogas in the future, and how much biogas will be available and things like that. So I think this might be the more important discussion at the end, because there can be maybe other solutions which are more interesting if we look at the whole transformation which is in front of the in industry, not only the roasteries or roasting industry, but what also like metal, steel industry, and so on. So
Yeah,
that's my feeling.
I totally agree. What we've seen with our development department and also what we've tested so far is that for sure it can be replaced by biogas, but because what you mentioned, the differences in chemical composure, it's quite hard to get a supplier that guarantees a stable mixture of methane, butane, and so on. So generally our burners could be adapted to biogas, but then we have to really have a constant supply, and that seems to be a challenge at the moment for the biogas industry.
Yeah, I agree. So that will be the challenge, and yeah, it also maybe there are also different views in different areas or regions of a country. Yeah? So there will be there will be some areas where, for example, biogas is more or less available, and other areas where it's not that big topic. So you have to take in mind that also. So you have to make sure that there is a constant supply, yeah, and as you said, with a constant quality.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, nice. And I really think that is not only a problem we are facing as a machine producer, but also what I've got from discussions with our customers.
Yeah.
Biogas seems to be not the most important topic these days.
Yeah.
David,
Yeah.
what are your customers saying in that direction?
Yeah, our customers are more asking in regard to, let's say, electricity and something. So that is more, let's say, what comes up firstly when they think about this alternative energies things, and electricity is a very big topic in that regard, of course.
Yeah, that is also my conclusion, what I got in discussion with your colleagues from sales and also with customers, that it seems that electrical heaters and electrical processes are more in the focus also of our customers, and that is something we from Pobart focused already years ago. So at the moment we got, I don't know if you know Christian, but we got a P5 from our shop roasters already heated by electricity, and also the P12. So on a small scale we already got the solution. But then we tried to transform it or transfer it also to industrial scale machines, where we're talking about several hundreds of kilowatts power that is needed. And therefore to find a supplier that got a solution already industry ready was, I think it took up to 5 years till we found somebody who is able to supply these things. And coffee roasting is a batch process, so we don't need a constant level of supply, but it's always on and off and on and off, which is generally challenging. And we found a supplier who is able to adapt his technology to our demand. And we got a customer who was interested in it. But then we came to the discussion, do we have the grid in this area? And that is something we know that there will be a discussion, but it's always a discussion with authorities. And that seems to be quite problematical, because normally the customers just buy machines at us and then start the discussion, but we have to be integrated much earlier. Do you see similarities in your industries?
Yeah, of course, totally. So it's the same problem, I think, in all of the energy intensive industries. So yeah, I mean, electricity, or the use of, we have to talk about green electricity.
Sure.
That's important to mention. That's also a problem, and we have to also differ between these different countries. So I'm very involved in project in Germany, and just let me say a few words to biogas. If we talk about biogas, in Germany, the politics are more in the direction that we shouldn't use biogas for industrial heating. We should use or biomass at the end. So we are more or less totally into this tank or table discussion. So I think in Germany, biogas might not be this big issue for or this solution for process heating. But that's more or less the situation today. That also can change. Electrification is very important, because we can directly use the energy to generate the heat without transferring it into, for example, hydrogen or other energy carriers. So I think energy is a good solution where it is feasible, like in more or less low temperature processes, not that high capacities, because we have limitations. You said it in terms of, for example, energy density. So applications, for example, in steel industry with very high temperatures, over 1200 degrees C or things like that, with very high capacities, won't be that, can't be tackled by electricity that much. And the other important point you mentioned is the fluctuation in the grid. I think at the moment it feels like it's we have a more or less stable grid, because we also have a lot of like back in the days energy with coal and so on. So we have this large power plants that will change into more or less more green energy, like wind turbines, solar and so on, and so we have a more fluctuation in the grid. And I think the interesting challenge in the future will be that we balance on the one side the capacity in the grid, and on the other side the demand of the industry, so that we have a more or less balanced system. and therefore batch processes can be interesting if I can plan the production capacities and so on. Or like hybrid systems for continuous processes could also be that interesting. So I can make a fuel switch. But for the industry, I think in the future it might be interesting to be more flexible. Unfortunately, but that's the case, because it's not only about the technical solutions. It's at the end a lot about the costs and the energy. On the one hand, we have a volatile or fluctuating grid or energy supply, electricity supply. But on the other hand, we will also have very differing costs, and they will change over the day. And at the moment, it looks like that will be a problem. But you can also see that as a challenge or a chance for new business models. So try to make money, or try to produce when the prices for electricity, green electricity, are low. I mean that is the vision. In Germany at the moment it's pretty hard, and hopefully the politicians or authorities have that on the table too, set the right signals that the industry can follow and deal with these challenges, because we need business models for that. But from my point of view, or for my feeling, as someone just said, hydrogen is the champagne of the energy transition, and we don't have that much green hydrogen at the moment, obviously not. But and we need a lot of energy to produce this green hydrogen. We should look for electrification, also electrification technologies wherever it is possible.
So, the green way, of course.
No, I totally agree. And before coming to hydrogen, which is an obvious topic we will tackle later on, you mentioned like we're transforming from stable energy production with gas and oil and coal to renewable, which is, I don't know if unstable is a real word, but you have a day where solar panels work, you have night where they don't work, you have windy days, you have non-windy days. What do you think about energy storage? How do you think this can be tackled? Because in the end we would need still a stable grid, but with just renewable energy, for me, from my point of view, it's quite hard to realize.
I mean, I'm not that expert in energy supply or grid efficiency and so on, because we are also the user of energy with our technologies at the end, which are industrial furnaces, the production systems. Of course, storage is an important factor, and energy storage is still in discussion. We talk about storage via batteries, or also hydrogen, like hydrogen tanks, storage by hydrogen, and that's, I think, the important point or the unique selling proposition to use hydrogen, because you can store it, and therefore you don't need that flexibility in your production processes, because you have the flexibility in the hydrogen production. You can switch on and off your electrolysis, and that's pretty nice. But we have to remember that we have an efficiency at the moment for hydrogen production via green energy of around about 70%, and I lose this 30% compared to direct use of electricity, and often electricity has a very high efficiency for heating, so we have very efficient heating elements. So at the end we also have to look at the total sums of energy consumptions, and even if a retrofit by, let's talk about biogas or even hydrogen, is a pretty interesting solution for an individual case at a specific location. If you look at the overall energy consumption of a country, you have to say that direct electrification is very important in the first step, and then firing or heating by fuels like hydrogen should be the second step you look at. I mean, that's more or less my personal point of view, but we see that we need more and more energy also in the next decade. That won't be that won't decrease. And as technology provider, as you are or we are in terms of research and development, we have to take care that we have these different solutions, and we can integrate it at the in the infrastructure. And unfortunately, my feeling is that we are very good, or we have a lot of technologies. We are ready in a lot of cases, and we can already implement like hydrogen burners or electric heating elements in lots of applications, but the infrastructure is missing. And that's where we have to go into deeper discussion. And we as a research institute, and I also would recommend this to manufacturers and suppliers, to build a network or get into discussion not only with the producers but also the suppliers of the energy at a specific location, to figure out what could be strategies for the next years, like 10 years, 5, 10, or the next decade. When are interesting dates or years to make a switch into a green solution. But because I can change my technology today into an electric technology in lots of cases, but unfortunately, for example, in Germany, I don't have this green energy for electrification. In some areas there might be, but not overall. And so my, for example, carbon footprint then of a process is not that green. That might be changed in 5 years or 10 years, and so.
What I see is always about compromises. As you said, electrification maybe as a first step seems to be feasible, but then we're coming to the argument about storage and then switching to hydrogen, which is an interesting topic, I would say, because hydrogen is something, and I'm quite proud to say it, we have already proven the concept for coffee roasters here in our technical center. There were some fears about it. What do we have to do? Especially also we have to build a completely new gas train, not only the burner. The gas train had to be very tight fitting because hydrogen is such a small molecule and always wants to escape. But we then really just took the pace and said we will modify our Jupiter 500 in our technical center and run it with hydrogen. And it was a great testing phase. We did it in May last year. Where we really roasted several batches of coffee, and then because coffee it's not only about having brown beans, it's only having a similar taste, having the best quality we normally assure to our customers. And therefore we also panel tested the customer, and it really worked well. So just from coffee process side, we are ready. We are ready to go with our customers and maybe the whole world the next step in terms of next level of replacing fossil fuels. But then what you mentioned, where to get green hydrogen. That is really, everybody's talking about hydrogen.
There's always a discussion with our customers, so they ask me what about hydrogen and so on, and I ask them, what about the infrastructure at your site? And then they say, I don't know, maybe in 10 years or something. So.
I mean, first of all, it's great that you are ready. And that's often the case. I mean, also in the industry, I'm talking about, we have done a lot, and we have a lot of projects regarding hydrogen. So looking at the burners, it's lots of things are ready. So I mean, the overall problem at the moment is that we don't have that much hydrogen. Unfortunately, of course, green hydrogen,
Yeah.
but only also like gray hydrogen and so on to make large-scale facility tests are missing.
That is the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard to make long-term tests, for example, and so we are more or less a little bit stuck in the moment in that situation. But of course, from a technical point of view, it's important to be ready. And I mean, I talked a lot about electrification, which has of course a key role, but on the other hand, hydrogen has this key role too, because let me say a few words about the grid. I talked to a lot of producers of, for example, metal products or things like that, and the options they have not only depends on their technical facilities, they more or less, as I said, depend on their infrastructure, and there will be locations where it will be pretty hard to get such large green electricity supply in that area, because they are in like cities or urban surroundings, things like that, and they are at the moment fired by, of course, natural gas, and I see that in the future there will be maybe more the option to switch on hydrogen, just due to the infrastructure, and so it is important for such kind of company to have both technical options. Yeah, and unfortunately, at the moment, we have to figure out what might be the infrastructure at this location in the future, and that is very hard to figure out.
Yeah.
And if you look at, just let me say that, because it's not only just about electricity or hydrogen or biogas, maybe for large-scale production plants there might be the option of both, like more or less flexible or hybrid solutions. So that I can deal more or less better with this kind of uncertainty.
So you're more flexible.
Yeah. If things change, I mean, things never changed that fast on the energy market like we have in the last few months. That's horrible for the industry. These long-term contracts we normally have over years, and also the lifetime of the plants is more or less like decades. And now we have to figure out what can we do in the next few years. So
it's quite unpredictable and volatile, and I see also that we know what is upcoming for the next 10 years is totally changing. We know what happened within the last months, and so therefore there's a kind of uncertainty. And what you say about having not only electricity or only hydrogen, that may be really a key solution to be flexible and to react on the demands or the things that will happen. That's really a key focus. We now just see mainly Germany, at least we are based in Germany. What do you think about Europe or maybe the world in general? Is Germany a pacemaker in terms of hydrogen, green hydrogen, or do you see other countries developing much faster?
Not really. I mean, I'm very involved in all this national discussions, but also European ones, and I see that the German, especially research and development, is very well prepared, and we are on a there are lots of things going on, and we are on a very good way. There is so interesting new solution regarding hydrogen, like production, storage, or utilization, but also electrification. And if I look at all these technical solutions, I feel that the transition in the industry is no problem at all. We have to. We just have to. We need someone who pays for all that. we don't have really interesting business models at the moment. That's the most important problem. Besides the infrastructure, of course, hydrogen is missing. We need the production capacities and so on. Also for green electricity, that's a problem. But if you look at the technologies, and I mean, I'm here at Probat, you also have such innovative solutions, and that's great to see, because I mean, I'm an engineer, so but that's
similarities.
But I have also a business administration background, so at the end, you need the business models. You need to be competitive.
Yeah,
against the others,
that's absolutely true.
Yeah.
What I've seen so far, or what would be a wish from my side, from product management, is really that we are integrated into discussions with customers and also with the authorities much earlier.
No.
Because process is one thing, but we have to see the plant or the roastery as a whole.
Yeah, a complete thing.
A complete thing. And David, do you see from your point or from sales point of view any focus on countries who are more asking about electricity, hydrogen or something, or is it just globally actual urgent topic?
Of course, actually it is a topic in Europe, so far as I know, so I'm responsible for East Europe, and of course current this time there are a lot of questions reasonable regarding the switch of natural gas to other supplies, but I think also Scandinavia and so on, that are also countries which are very interested in alternative energies.
Yeah. This is great to hear, because as I said before, and I guess your arguments go in the same way, we have to work together, we have to find together with our customers a solution. There won't be one solution that fits all. We have to adapt to the local or regional circumstances, and that is something we really have to be integrated much earlier. But in the end, from my point of view, first thing, thank you very much. It was great, great arguments, and also to see not only from our view what is the situation in other industries, and also about the infrastructure around, but also from your view, from your institute. But I'm quite proud that we from Probat already tackled in the end some of these topics already way ahead. Now it's coming up, but we, as I said, for hydrogen we did a test 1 year ago, and I don't really know if I should mention it, but you know, we got the Connecting Markets event this September, so where the whole coffee world is coming to Emmerich, coming to us, and everybody's invited, and we will have the presentation of really great stuff. We will have a gas-fired P5, we have electrical heated P5, and we will also have a hydrogen heated P5 here at our facility, where we roast, where we can taste. And Christian, please feel free to come around, take a look at it. It's really amazing what we are able to do, and therefore we are really pacemaker of the coffee industry.
Yeah, thank you. It's great. I mean, it's great to see that you're looking in all directions. Yeah? And that's very important. I mean, we do research, we are always open to that, but it's important to be innovative, to think out of the box. And as I said, we have the technical options, and now it's up to get into the discussion not only with the producer, but what also all the other actors which are involved in this process, especially the energy industry. To define a strategy and also communicate with politics. So we are doing that for sure, to develop an overall plan to tackle this challenge of energy transition. But just let me say it at the end. So, because it's from my personal point of view, it's important in all these discussions to focus always, and you do that, on resource efficiency. Because if product quality, as you said, is such important.
Yes, sure.
If I reduce losses, I reduce energy. That's and so we have to optimize, of course, the processes. And and the next thing is, of course, energy efficiency, because even if we might have green energy, we don't have that much, so we need the energy efficiency. And of course, then afterwards reduce carbon footprints and so on. And so lots of challenges.
Sure.
But we're on a good way.
It will not be boring, I can tell you.
No. My boss said it's the interesting time now for industrial furnace and energy intensive industry, because there's so much changing at the moment, from the old conventional firing to new solutions, and for the industry it's hard. For the manufacturers it's also interesting. I mean, the producers have to make the decisions. We are just providing solutions, and we just do research, so we are in some way it never was that interesting.
Yeah, perfect.
We have a question here. Okay, is there a chance that energy efficiency of roasting machines can be further improved independent of the heat source?
I would take this question.
Very good.
Yes, sure, it can be. That is something we are doing constantly. We developed over the last years and decades also the green coffee preheating. We improved the installation. We optimized the burner to go to a lower energy level. We try to reuse as much as possible in energy. There are still rooms for improvement, but as everything in the industry, it's always a compromise of investment cost and efficiency. And therefore, if there are special topics we are able to talk about, we not only have electrification and hydrogen in our portfolio from development side, we have several other things, so we are open to talk.
Of course.
Very good. Very good.
Okay, so thank you very much for this very interesting discussion today. I think we all understand now this is a very important topic that will affect all of us sooner or later. So it's very calming and good to know that Probart is well prepared for the future and also for the things that might come. So it was a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
For me too, thanks.
Yeah, for me too. Thank you.
Okay, so maybe now we can dive into the more relaxing part of the day. So I would like to invite you to have a small barbecue with me and some small drinks. So please come over me and let's have a small barbecue.
Thanks, David.
Thank you. Yeah, it's so interesting.
It's really interesting because there are so many possibilities, and because some of the customers think there is one solution, but there will not be some.
One more
is
thing.
a compromise.
We really tried to find a barbecue which we can heat it up with hydrogen.
Also using hydrogen.
It's not able to find such a barbecue.
I think
But
that
also
should be
this emphasize
more
how many
detailed
different kind of
developed.
industries have to handle
we're
this process of changing in the future. And of course, all these different kind of industries have to be prepared. You learned today that Probart is already prepared, and we really would like to start the process of changing with you, our customers, our friends. So the important question of today is, what about you? Okay, thanks for joining our heat session today. We hope that this session came up to your expectation, and hopefully we'll see you soon. And goodbye, stay healthy, we see. Bye bye.